Welcome to Bible on the Bench. Here we are in Riverside Park, New York City.
In chapter 10 in the book of Exodus, we seem to have a breakdown in communication between Pharaoh and Moses. Right after being stubborn once again, Pharaoh says to Moses, "You can never come speak to me again, under penalty of death." And Moses agrees and says, "In fact, I'll never come see your face again." And I think it's really interesting to note that all along in the narrative up until this point, despite a contentious relationship, there's always been dialogue, there's always been discussion among the leaders, despite the fact that it was quite fraught. But now we seem to have a total breakdown in communication with no possibility of reconciliation. What do you think that says to the way leaders can, should do dialogue, engage in discourse, and negotiate?
It's fascinating to consider why throughout these chapters it's an important piece of the story that Moses and Pharaoh communicate. These chapters could have been written without any communication between Moses and Pharaoh. God could have given all of the plagues to the Egyptians and then at the end taken the Jews out. I think the idea of communication has a dual role. One is that it paints Pharaoh as a confused, ruthless, but maybe ultimately weak leader. And what it also teaches is that Moses hones his skills as a leader. You wonder as you read through the rest of the Bible, where Moses is faced with the challenges of the people, were those challenges harder, more difficult? Or maybe they were nothing compared to the difficult Pharaoh that he had to deal with in Egypt.
So the savviness of communication is one that's set early on in the narrative, and yet Moses wavers with his ability to communicate with both the Israelites and vis-a-vis the larger public.
And that was Moses' shortcoming. And somehow that's what it means that Moses had difficulty speaking.